Hi guys, we are the crew from Wanderio, a web application that will help you plan and book your trips.
Wanderio compares all existing means of transport and lets you sort alternatives by price, travel time and carbon footprint.
See you in Berlin and get ready for the show.
Okay. Does it work?
Yeah.
Yep. Hello everybody, I'm Matteo Colò, co-founder and CEO of Wanderio. Wanderio is a web application that deals with the problem of planning and booking travel itineraries online. We believe that today this activity is still hard and very time-consuming. And the reason for this is that the information we need for traveling is scattered across a great number of websites. For better understanding what I'm talking about, I would like to start with an example on how travel planning works today. The path the average user follows before booking a trip starts from a search engine. From here, you will first look for information about flights. To collect more info, you will jump from one site to another. And after looking for this kind of information, you will jump to another website to collect data about trains, taxis, and finally shuttles, buses, and all the possible means of transport connecting airports with their final destination. The conclusion we can draw is that online travel planning is a mess. Data is so scattered that before making an initial booking, the average user visits 22 sites and makes at least 12 online searches. The consequence of this kind of experience is that 45% of travelers say that online travel planning is frustrating. As Chewbacca would say, So, to solve Chewbacca's and other travelers' pain, we created Wanderio. Wanderio covers the entire travel itinerary, taking care of the user from doorstep to final destination. The user can search for any address, location, or point of interest, and the platform gives back as a result a page with door-to-door complete itineraries. Wanderio compares flights, trains, ferries, and ground transportation services such as shuttle, buses, and private cabs, and allows the user to plan and book complete, tailored itineraries. Wanderio allows the user to choose the solution that suits him best, sorting alternatives by price, travel time, and CO2 emissions. Users can also access reviews about means of transport and alternative routes, and a system for collecting feedback allows them to share their travel experience. We believe multimodal search is the future of online travel, but we are not the only ones to think it. Other startups are diving in this market, interpreting multimodal search in many different ways. To prove our approach to online travel planning, last month we launched Wanderio Closed Beta. We are now testing it with a few hundred users, and at the moment, the platform allows to search for air and ground transportation in more than 50 countries. We will launch our public beta next month and plan the final release of the web app for the second part of 2013, together with the launch of our mobile app. I would like to spend a few words on the amazing crew working at Wanderio. Luca, Disheng, and I founded Wanderio 1 year ago. I'm in charge of the business development, while Luca and Disheng are two PhD students in computer science in charge of the application development. Day by day, we build a team which is made of people with different and complementary skills, motivated by the desire to simplify the travel booking experience in a unique, beautiful way. As I told you before, we are now in closed beta. If you want, you can request an invite at wanderio.com. It would be really great to get your feedbacks. If you want to learn more about Wanderio, drop us a line at info@wanderio.com or follow us on our social pages. Thanks for your attention.
All right. In Silicon Valley, there's an app called Hipmunk, and it looks like a Hipmunk clone.
No, Hipmunk, it's for air or hotels. We're working on multimodal search, so we integrate flights, trains, but also the ground transportation services, so shuttles, public and private transfers, public transportation. So we want to offer the user a way to plan and book the complete itinerary from those steps to his final destination. That can be an hotel or a specific point of interest.
Hey, beginning to end, judges.
I know that Go Europe, as far as I know, they built up a huge database of local train connections and bus connections and everything, and it took them months. So did you do the same to ensure that there is really a holistic look onto all the possibilities and you really get the best way out in the end?
With our closed beta, we closed deals with B2B companies that integrates small transport providers. And we are now integrated at least 5,000 routes across Europe, and in the rest of the world are 3,000 in Europe and the rest in the rest of the world. And we are also integrating public transportation, so like subways and this kind of services. And we don't know for that Go Euro database, we will have to watch with their public version. And we will have to watch how every startup has interpreted the multimodal search space.
Okay, so just to make sure I understood what you just said, you're building up a database of ground transportation that's going to help sort of complete the last mile of travel?
Yep.
So this is your private database?
We have this database on ground transportation services, and we close deals for flights and rail companies for the other services. So yes, we built this database on ground transportation services.
Okay, so if you can figure out how to actually do the ground transportation part right, like it's actually really valuable. It's also really hard. A lot of people have tried it before, and there's a lot of sort of carcasses in the world. And not that Hitmonk did the last mile, they didn't, but like Hitmonk is a really good instance, a really good example of a really awesome website that not a lot of people use. They raise a lot of money, they did not get a lot of traction, that company is really struggling. You guys have something unique if you can actually build what you say you're building, which is that last mile part, which is really, really hard. So I would be totally interested in figuring out how you guys are doing it. Are you focused on one location? Are you everywhere? Like, are you just getting it right in one place? I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but if you can figure that out, it's awesome.
Thank you.
To what extent do you think the long distance part is interesting? Do you think there's any potential in the sort of comparing train versus air for sort of travel across Europe, or is that kind of hard to differentiate?
So we are working on the long trips. So what we want to do is integrate, as other websites, the air and the rail means of transport, but we want to create a strong application on ground transportation services on long trips.
Do you think people, though, they work out the long distance part first before they work out the ground transport part?
Pardon?
Do people not work out the long distance part first? So that either the flight or the train is the alternative to the flight? That, in terms of my path, my mental path, it's work out the expensive part first, then I'll figure out the local part.
Yep. In fact, we want to add a new feature on the public version of Wanderio, and we want to offer people the possibility, when they have just purchased the flight tickets, they can insert the code of their flight, and we can add the first and last mile transportation to complete the itinerary.
So this definitely be one of my wet dreams, is to fly from door to door thing. But who would you say is the specific use case? Since whatever what Rob said also, it's like who would be using? Is it a short term? Is it just right now check it out, or what would be the?
At the moment, you can plan multimodal itineraries, so from point A to point B, and you can book every single step of the trip. On the partners' websites. With our public version, it will be possible to book the first and last mile transportation with our billing platform. And with our final version, in the second part of 2013, we want to offer all-in-one booking experience. So you can book every single step of your itinerary on a single platform.
Who would you say would be your most common user as traveler? What
We're
type?
talking of leisure travelers. And but we know we will have to offer also to business users a platform that is clearly only for them. So with services like premium services or services that are most used by businessmen and that kind of people.
All right, Wanderio.
Thank you.